Last year, I made my first ever stadium, but sadly due to plot data, I could not finish it. And to this day, I've still never finished a stadium. But that's gonna change today because we are going to be building this baseball stadium fully. Make sure you subscribe and help me get to 60K, and let's get right into the video. Alrighty guys, so I sort of have a bit of a layout here for my Comerica Park. I want the field to be in the basement this time. That was a huge issue I made last time by putting it on the main floor. So by putting it in the basement, this should help me out a lot. I'm gonna have some stairs going alongside the dugouts. So there's that. So I hopefully should be able to also make a clonable railing set. That would be ideal. There goes my Alexa. And so I should be able to make the nice detailed railing right here. And I think I'd actually like to make these railings a bit darker. I'm gonna make them something like that, trust on my process. And then now I'm gonna use concrete here as the base. And there we go. I feel like we're already off to a better start than last time, which that is a good feeling to have. And okay, we're just gonna trust that for now. And I'm a big fan of that. So as you guys can see, basically it allows me to have a lot of room for seating back here, which that is very exciting. And then obviously as I go up this outfield wall here, that's going to be very interesting as well, because our seating and our steps are going to be somewhat slanted. But okay, that should be fine. And then as you guys can see, if I clone steps from like right about there, I can just drag them on over, place them over here. But hey, we're still kind of cooking something up here, I feel like. This is already going to be a little bit better than the one that we previously had done. I just knew that after my last one and seeing how much better I've gotten at making stadiums, I just knew I could do better. And that's what I'm out to do today. I'm out to do better. But yeah, okay. So that's there, which is good. And in case you guys are wondering, I do have it planned out, so I'll be able to do booth seating as well, like for the announcers and all that stuff, so like the press boxes and all that good stuff. That's going to be exciting to see. But for now, I guess it would be nice to at least get an actual floor for people to walk on around. That probably would be ideal. So then obviously I paint this floor concrete. And okay, so now that all meets our regular level, that is pretty good. I would say that's really, really good. It's kind of a huge goal, I guess, they're completed. While that obviously isn't the most visually appealing yet, just trust the process, all right? I'm starting to really love making baseball stadiums, so if this video gets 1,000 likes, I will make one of the stadiums that you guys recommend down in the comments below. So make sure you subscribe and like the video because I know you wouldn't want to miss that. Alright, hold up. We kind of have some monumental progress here. Absolutely. There we go. We've connected that. And then here behind home plate, this is also going to be tricky. So I can either adjust the stairs accordingly, or I'll have to adjust just the seating itself. I'm not entirely sure just yet. Yeah, connecting this circle behind home plate has been an extraordinary challenge as well. That's a big word, wow. Basically, it's just been a big challenge. I'll have to readjust my plane markings and all that, but maybe I can get more of a perfect circle around these seats here as like the fencing, because I believe they switched it to brick this year. They did a bunch of unnecessary stadium renovations, by the way. I was like, whoa, why are we doing this? But I don't know, I guess they really felt it was necessary, so. But yeah, that is awesome. That is really, really cool. There we go. Why do my ears keep ringing, dog? I have also no clue how expensive this stadium's going to be. We've made some pretty pricey ones in the past. There's no secret about that, bro. I've made some really unnecessarily expensive stadiums, and those never feel the best, you know? You kind of leave a video after you spend all that money. It's just never great. Okay. There we go. There we go. We are back. We are so back-ish. There we go. All right. So, like, we're almost done with this. And I get it looks like a massive concrete jungle, because it is. But let's just ignore that for now, okay? Okay. How in the world did I just connect that? I have no clue, bro. Dude, that is impressive. Okay. We have connected every single thing here, pretty much just giving us a fantastic outline on the rest of this build. Wow. Wow, dude. Oh my gosh. And our plot data is only 12%. Maybe that's good, maybe that's bad, I don't know. Holy cow, though. And then per usual, they use the good old green wall. And I think I'll just make them like this. Nothing too fancy about that. But yeah, I kind of like the way we're doing that there. I'll check my color palettes and all that stuff out. Make sure I'm doing everything just right later on. Because I did really like how I did my outfield walls last year. I actually loved everything about the field itself. Last time I made it to the stadium, I just hated the actual stadium. Like, I did the seating really bad. I made it on the wrong floor. You know, it just was a really awkward looking build. So if I can fix up these tiny errors I had last time, we should be set to make a pretty cool stadium. Alright guys, I'm still just working on this wall. We're almost done with it. I'm just kind of doing some tiny details. Although so far I can confidently say that our seating, at least our layout for the seating, is a complete win compared to our last build. So that on its own is great. It's about 30 minutes until Rory tees off for the Masters. If you watch golf, I'm waiting for Rory McIlroy's final round to start. Hopefully he can win the Masters. But okay. So as you guys can see, we sort of have that all labeled, which that's great. They went back to the brick walls, which that was something to find out. So I'm gonna make these pretty thick brick walls. So yeah, they pretty much have this, and they also have what I call the chain link fence. It's really just netting, and it's something I would like to have back here. Okay, but like there's that, which I think that's pretty good. I'd say that's pretty good. This chain link fence and all this netting will look really tiny once I'm actually done with the stadium. I also actually completely forgot I wanted to have a lower outfield wall here for the bullpen. So let me try to quickly make this as detailed as I can. These are a lot more detailed. There we go. May not look the greatest, but I'm actually pretty happy with how that turned out. 1300 of fence, oh my gosh. Alrighty guys, so doing the dugouts is going to be quite the challenge. If you're wondering why this is going to be so challenging, because well, since we made our thing here in the basement, we can't actually make this dugout go down. Although, the only way I could make it go down here is if I used a pool, and then I just covered the top of it with the basic shape. This is literally the only way I can make this go further down. Alright, well, it went further down, so I can't really ask for much more. There we go. And then just right alongside it, we need to have these little barrier walls, which these shouldn't be too challenging to make. Okay. So there's one side of that done, and there we go. That's pretty good, I'd say. There's that, and then right above the dugouts, they have a little bit of like, I guess, a roof. And there we go, that's a pretty good roof. That is a pretty good roof. We're also about 20% plot data last time I checked, which that is not that good. So we definitely have to be a little more conservative with our plot data. Okay, so there's that. That's pretty good. We can check our plot data now, which yeah, I believe it's just 20.4%. which I'm not too worried about, although we probably should work on detailing our field now, since I would say that's a pretty important part of this build. Okay, that should be pretty decent, and that obviously leaves us room for more darker dirt, I guess, for our actual field. So let's see here. So if I was to make my foul lines now, there we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. And then we unfortunately cannot place the paths thing here in the basement, which I thought that was interesting. We might actually make our little baselines and all that stuff out of basic shapes, which is just fine with me. Let me quickly get a straight line kind of going through this build, just so I can connect stuff. So even if I did my baselines there and like pitcher's mound here. Okay, so pitcher's mound, that's going to be easy. You just use the half sphere. And that dirt looks like a poop, bro. It doesn't look real. I like this color now, so that's good. To do our baselines, I'm probably, like I said, I'm going to have to use basic shapes. So I'm going to have to manage to keep these above the floors. And baselines are truly pretty small, so. Alright, so there we go. I think that is good enough. Plus then including those foul lines, that's great. Now it's time to work on some of our bases, which I think if I just make these a width of 2, we should be good. So there we go, we have some bases, and that's really good. That is a big step. We could even move these bases up actually, leaving I guess more room to like field the ball behind it. And so now I'd like to try and get the grass along the sides here. Hopefully our dirt is just barely taller than this, which, oh my gosh, it's so close. You kidding me? All right, well, that was an unnecessary challenge. Jeez. There we go. And I figured the easiest way to actually get mowed lines, this could take a lot of plot data. So let's currently check where we're at. Okay, we're at 21%. We don't want to spend too much plot data on this, but the easiest way to get mowed lines would be putting basic shapes under the floor, yeah, over this default basement concrete, I guess. But like hypothetically, right? If I move this just down 1 block, what height would this have to be to go underneath this dirt? 0.6? Okay. So now as you guys can see, if I go to here and use the mowed grass lines, that like perfectly goes there. I just have to fix up the glitchy texture. Huh, so weird that this is so picky. We'll definitely have to find an easier alternative for the outfield, that's for sure. Lower it down like that, and boom. Kind of a smart strategy, if I do say so myself. And look at that, guys. I think that turned out great. That was literally exactly how I had intended it. And then for the outfield, if I want, I could do the mowed grass pattern like that. Holy cow, that is huge. Oh, this better not waste all of my plot data. That's all I can say. Now I have to do the painful process of lowering all of these down. But yeah, that's definitely something that's like a kind of a game changer in terms of technique, because a lot of people can't really do this carpet design here in the basements. Along with the dugouts, we've kind of got really lucky, really creative here, and found a way to make it happen. That's the only sacrifice of making this in the basement rather than the first floor, like a lot of other people have made their stadiums on the first floor. So this is a huge win. Although next up is probably going to be my center field wall. There's just a huge backdrop here in America Park, so we got to make sure that it looks good and hopefully do it a little bit better than we did last time. This time I actually will have the power of decals. Normally, I didn't even think last year to use decals for my logos and all that fun stuff, so that's definitely a huge advantage that we have this year. But yeah, look at that field. Look at that field. I think that's pretty good, I've got to say. Okay, all right. So we have the brick here, which this brick is where the Hall of Fame players are at. We can probably get some names out there this year. Maybe, I don't know. That's going to be a big ask. So if you remember last year, we had to use the hedge bushes and just place them all up in here. So we're doing the exact same thing this year. All right, so that's a good start. Then we have the secondary wall right behind it. So how am I supposed to make that happen? Hold on. Okay, there we go. Just one tiny piece left. So, oh my days, there we go. So there's that. Here in the middle though, they do I guess have that view box. So let me try to get a good look here in that. And then there's these little archways right next to this big wall. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to cut that out just fine. But now we have to do the moss wall, which doing this moss wall is always quite the challenge. You know, there's so much stuff we can put on this. Okay, there's that. I think that's good. I want to make these hedges a little bit tinier up here, although I'm not entirely sure how. They're just so invasive on space. Okay. So there's that. And then there's also a little splitter here, I guess, in the bullpens that kind of like divides the, I guess, teams that are practicing. So we can go back to a regular wall for that little divider. It's just fine with me. I'll adjust this height. And then there's just a massive pizza tarp above it that just promotes the Little Caesars stuff. So, but yeah, there's that section over there. That's pretty good. I should probably also make my foul poles, so I can definitely just use a regular round pillar. If I just resize it as tall as I can. Yeah, that's good height. Okay. Now, last year, I used these little kitchen trays. So if we go to decorations in kitchen, I used the food counter rack and painted it a nice yellow. And that actually worked out really well. So if I can just find the gap here between the top and bottom there. Okay, there we go. I've done that. And that's actually pretty realistic. Okay, so then I can just copy and paste that over here. And thankfully, since everything I made over there is clonable, if I just click on this tiny cube, there we go. All right, that's pretty good. That is pretty good. Yeah, look at this nice view. This would be an awesome view of the ballpark. Holy cow, okay. All right, so overall, I am pretty happy with how this is turning out so far. Now, I would like to just kind of finish up this area near the fountain at least, or touch it up a little bit. So I think using the plain thin pillars over here is going to be our best bet. We're going to need quite the amount of detail, and we're only at 21% plot data. I did just check that, so that is good. Plot data, as you guys know, scares the crap out of me, so. And somebody's mowing their lawn. Oh boy, we're back. We are so back to lawn mowing season. This will be the fencing I'm going to rock with for the majority of the stadium. Okay, and then right above it here, there's just a massive display that has some vehicles on it. It obviously holds most of the water, so we'll have to work on that. But I also would like to get our archways figured out. Maybe we don't go too fancy on them, just for plot data reasons, so I could definitely tone this down if I need to. Let's just first do this here. There we go. That's sort of a design, I guess. Not the best thing in the world, but that's okay. All right, so we're sort of getting something up here now. Hopefully nobody pays too much attention to this little roof area. But yeah, we've at least finally got something, which that took me some time to do, so I'm happy that is over with. I had to be very precise with some of my measurements. Building it diagonal certainly is not the most fun, but we did it. We did it, so that's good. Although this moss wall actually does continue up here to this main section, and then it holds the Chevrolet logo and all that fun stuff. So yeah, we gotta add that in real quick, then we will be good. Yeah, what happened to these textures down here? You guys seeing this? What happened down here? Why did it get so dark? I swear I did not have them painted that dark before. I don't know what bugged those out, but okay. We'll just leave it as it is. But yeah, basically they have a mom car, so they got a mom SUV. Crap, I have that on my other plots, don't I? Let's go to our vehicles here. How much is it? Okay, this thing. The opulent Astro. And then I guess I could include like a Blox's TS on the other side. Wow, those vehicles are not maybe the most realistic in the world to the actual thing, we should be okay. Let me just try to make this look a little less weird. Dude, this looks like a Lightning McQueen car or something like that over there. Oh, that's something. Okay, but yeah, there's that, and we'll have room to get the logo up in there. I guess let me go get a decal to put up here. All right, there we go. We got the Chevrolet fountain here. That's a pretty good looking sign if I do say so myself. So I'm pretty happy with that. I feel like our next big adventure that would be good to get out of the way now would be this massive scoreboard over here. And unfortunately, as of late, the Tigers decided to change it, even though they just got the new scoreboard last year. They're like, no, we're gonna change that. So now it's like completely different than what we had last time. There's not that big cursive like Tigers font anymore. It's just straight up a branding of Comerica Park. So that is, yeah, so exciting. And I mean, this scoreboard is huge, as most of the stadium is. And then up here features more of the stadium lights. And then the Comerica Park text goes there in the middle. Okay, for now, I'll make it this like just black. Just to chill off there on the backdrop. I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna do the lighting up here. That's gonna be an entire task. I could kind of make a pole, I guess, out of the previous studio lights that we already have. I've used them in plenty of other stadiums. I don't know if they're all stuck on my Michigan stadium though, because I know I used a lot of them in the college football stadium, but let's see. Okay, so I still have 36 left. All right, yeah, we can use a bunch of these. As long as they don't take up much plot data, then I don't really care. So how much Bloxburg would it be to copy and paste this? What does that say, 1,500? Okay, it's not terrible. Because last time, I think I spent the solid like 30% plot data accidentally on all of my lights, because I did so many of them out of light boxes, which if you don't know, isn't a great thing to do. So yeah, I can maybe restrict to doing only 2 of them per, I guess, like pole thing here. It's fine with me. And I still have 9 left. 9, funnily enough, I think actually leaves me 1 short of filling an entire pole, but let's see. Nope, we did it. Okay, that's good. And now I actually have to go and paint all of these too. I didn't even think about that. Silly me. But yeah, if that doesn't take up much plot data, then I'm perfectly fine with using this as my strategy for the entire stadium. Should be all good. But yeah, look at how cool that looks. I think that actually is... It's a lot better than the previous attempt. And I would like to preferably though make like my own like custom truss. Yeah, like I think that's just a lot better because it's got more support up there. I think that looks better personally. So that's huge. I am contemplating adding another pillar over here and hopefully trying to make this like screen a little bit taller, because right now it looks a lot wider than it is tall, and I just don't like that. Actually, if I get rid of these lights here, then I would have the perfect amount. And hey, I can save myself some lights. Look at that, guys. I can crop out like 4 of them here. Okay, so I also want a little graphic down here at the bottom. Basically, there's like a scoreboard that also goes around like the seats and stuff, and it's just like right below it. And I think this is what's gonna hold basically like our home run stuff. You know, it'll show like a tinier version. So if they hit a home run, then this would be kind of where it's shown at. So I could definitely just chuck that on there once I get it made. Okay. So there's room for that. Now I have to actually go through and do all of our decals. So let's look through here and try to see. And guys, trying to get decals on here actually is quite the challenge. I have to like readjust them all perfectly and put them on this scoreboard. So yeah, that's been fun because they don't want to fit like properly on the scoreboard for some odd reason. It's just my luck, I guess. But let's see here. If I go through, make these all just barely taller. Gosh, dude, this is going to be a lot of photos. This is going to be a lot. Gosh, watch me do all of this effort and it doesn't even let me put the Verlander photo up there because it gets like copyrighted or something. Oh, that'd be just my luck. And what's even crazier is I have to do like all these different levels of decals. I'm gonna have so much ladders and so many codes that I'm gonna have to go up there and place, and it's gonna be ugly. I'm gonna have to, yeah, find the biggest photo of Justin Verlander I can find because, jeez, it's gonna be hopefully not too blurry. Words cannot describe how much I cannot wait to be done with this scoreboard, because gosh, this is taking so long. I mean, guys, doesn't it just look good as it is? Are we sure we need to change the photos? I mean, look at how awesome that looks, guys. Maybe I should leave the floors there so I can just go between decals easily. Yeah. Alrighty, guys, so I really tried to get a picture of an athlete up there, but unfortunately Roblox just wouldn't let me do that. But I do have an entire scoreboard now with the Tigers schedule from quite a while ago. This is definitely not a new one, but either way, I think this is really, really cool. Got my Comerica Park logo up there. And yeah, that's definitely a lot better than the one we did last time. There's no denying that. But yeah, wow. Actually fantastic. Holy cow. Now I guess I would like to get a idea of where our club seating and all that's going to be. And I think rolling with some sort of layout like this here actually would go pretty well. And then I guess the way the club seating works more on this side is a little bit different. So this second floor doesn't go forever. I'd say it's something sort of like that. And then there's like a lower deck of upper seating over here. And then it just has all of that as backdrop, which keep in mind guys, last time we did the stadium, this is something we did not include. We did not include all the press boxes and all that. But this time we are. Okay, so there's all of that. Now the question comes as to what do you want to paint all of this up here? Do you want to paint it more of that dark green and incorporate the white windows? Maybe. I'd like to use preferably these framed windows here. Just chuck them up like that. And I'm going to put a nice line in the middle. I'm going to roll with this white here. I think that's what they use. I think they use the white. So I'm going to roll with it. See how it goes. And then I guess what doors we can mix in here to get onto the balcony. Probably mix in the commercial door, honestly. I think that is just fine. It probably would help if we sprinkled in pillars. That I guess help separate each suite or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, kind of like that idea. And then I'll put more of a metal or sleek glass railing, yeah. And then I will put the little scoreboard right below it that will wrap around all of our seats. So I'm curious, can I place decals on this wooden plank? Please tell me I can. Please tell me I can. I can. Let's go. That's huge. That is huge. Okay. That is a big W. Hold on. Undeniably massive W right there. We'll paint it just like everything else and make it that sea green. And then I just chuck decals onto it though. Basically, I do have a little graphic for this. I tell you what, guys, if I can pull this off, this will be great. This will be great. Like, look at that, guys. I think that looks sick. Do you think that looks good, bro? I actually love that. Oh my gosh. All right. So there's that. That's really good. Oh my goodness, guys. There we go. We're almost done with this little extra detailing here. And look at this, guys. We have so much room left for upper deck seating. It's actually phenomenal. Very happy with that. This is going to make the upper deck a lot easier now that we have all of this room available to us. I guess the best design to start off up here would be tunnels. So if I make the tunnels like 10 blocks long here, we could just do a ramp coming up, then this will leave walk space behind. Now, I'm not entirely sure how to make it more steep. Maybe if I make the steps 0.75 instead of 0.5. It'll help kind of elevate it. Yeah, that does actually make it a lot more steeper. Okay. So I want to just cut it off right here. Okay. There we go. That's where we're cutting it off. And there we go. As you guys can see, we're sort of working with this as our tunnel designs, clonable by this little block right here. And they create a even 3-block gap between the next one, which that is exciting. The only trouble is going to obviously be making it kind of swirl around, but hopefully I'll have no problems connecting it. I think doing something like that is probably going to be best. And goodness me, look how expensive this is. 10,000 per. Although guys, just doing those stairs alone took up quite a fair chunk of plot data. It's definitely not what you want to see, so we for sure have to be really careful. But okay, I'm going to quickly just do some seating over here. And okay, so we're going to need an extra block. Okay, we should be good there. So that's good. And now it's time to work on the filler spots. We're getting to this point, which is huge that we're even here. So that's good. There's still plenty of details left, guys. But fortunately, most of those details are done with decals. So that's a good part, right? I think the decals don't take up much plot data. They just take up more so the money side of things. And yeah, that sucks. But as long as we can get remotely close to finishing this build, I will be so excited. So let's keep doing what we're doing. We're on good pace. I think we're on good pace. I mean, just making this entire ramp and all this stuff all clonable, that was a big challenge on its own. So the fact that we already did that, that's pretty good. Wait a second, where's my ramp at? Oh my god, I just realized that I forgot to attach the ramp as well to these things. Whoops. Either way, we are kind of cooking here. It's gonna take quite the effort though to be able to connect all of these seats, and they do kind of like branch upwards like this, so I'm gonna keep that feature here in our stadium. Gosh though, guys, I am so worried about what the plot data is going to be. I'm gonna take a guess and say somewhere in like the 40s, maybe pushing. No, it's got to be more than 45. It's all right. My official guess will be like 55% plot data. Let's see what it is right now. Actually, I might be way off. Okay, right now it's only 38%, so never mind. Hey, we're actually doing like a pretty decent job though. I cannot lie, we're doing a pretty decent job. So if we just keep this up, like, I like our odds. I like our odds of finishing this build. I mean, look at that, guys. Like, wow. We have that top section all filled. Dude, that is so sick. 39%. So once we do this lower section here, we will be set, bro. Oh my gosh. I mean, just look at all of this from like this angle. What the heck? And weirdly enough, I still think we actually have space to do an entry into the ballpark and all that fun stuff. So that is huge as well. And we can probably make an outfield fence now. So that's neat. I'm gonna use the tall, simple, and metal fence. And we can place like sponsors on this and all that fun stuff. So yeah, let's go. There's a bit of a lounge that I think would go right in this section here. So we'll see if I can make it. It'd be really cool if I could. Or like it actually goes right above this area. Okay. I might be able to fit that in there. I might be able to. And so yeah, we can prop the sponsors up here on these trusses that we made earlier. Yeah, there we go. We'll put that all over there. Man, we are really making a nice looking ballpark, huh? But yeah, basically, we're gonna chuck the lounge over here that I was referring to, and we'll add in pretty simple pillars as bases and all that, just to help keep a foundation. And I want to make it be pretty, you know, packed up here. I want to have quite a lot going on. So there is basically like an entire bar up here. So this will be a really interesting one to make. All right, I'm gonna make the roof of this place just a nice blue. This is really taking some focus here, so I'm sorry if the commentary is not the best. I really want to make this look good though. So that's what I'm trying to do. Hey, that actually turned out a little better than I thought it would. All right, it's better than I thought it'd be. Although I can honestly say that for this entire build. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's kind of a lot better than I thought it would be. It's like significantly better. So we're doing good, I think. Just have to keep up the good work. We should be in the promised land here soon. This is genuinely the area I was trying to do last time. I did have some like brick buildings off to the side. And now this time I actually have a proper way of being up here. Yeah. And then obviously I can put some concessions back here too. So yeah, there was a plenty of concessions. Probably won't decorate those, but it's still at least good to have them. I'm not sure how I want to make it so we can get up here. Okay, we're sort of getting a good stairwell now. Something serviceable to then connect to this like upstairs area and all this balcony, so yeah. Okay, this one up here is for the really cool people. And then I like to use this concrete up here. I think that just fits. And wow, suddenly that looks really, really good. Now I have to somehow get an entire thing over here. Oh gosh, this is going to be quite the challenge. Man, okay. There's another lights thing that's going to be over here. So that's going to be fun to try and add in. Gosh, I've spent so much Bloxburg on this video. You know what? I'm just proud that I even managed to get lights up there. That is quite the challenge, y'all. That is severely underestimated. So now I can hopefully get a duplicate set, because it looks weird having just one. So I actually am going to have to buy some more Bloxburg. Goodbye, bank account. There we go, though. That looks pretty dang cool. Perfect. Perfect, dude. Let's go. Gosh, man. This is quite the build. We're at 1.3 million and 42% plot data. That's pretty good. All right, and I, for some reason, even forgot to do this little spot right here. So I'll quickly make this tunnel along with this little tiny tarp that's above it. Okay, well, there's that. That's pretty good. Let's see how much height we've left ourselves above these seats. So not that much, but it is enough to get more lights in, which that's a good thing. So I would like to also preferably finish off my rooms. Just the simple addition of having that built in is going to be huge for our build. Okay, so there's one series there. Then we have the other one right up here. Oh man. I'm gonna use brick here on the back because screw it, why not? And who knows, we might actually have enough plot data to do the suites whenever we're done with this. I'm not gonna rule it out just yet, but I'm gonna say that it's highly unlikely based off of my previous experiences. Right now I'm really just trying to trace these seats and all that. Let's outline them that green, so it looks like a little less of a concrete jungle. Okay, so there's that, which, guys, I mean, let's just look at this entire thing. This is pretty cool. Is it perfect? No, but it's pretty good, I'd say. I'm gonna fill in these little gaps that we have here because these are also pretty important. Oh wow, I actually really like the idea of using this other concrete that we did around the entire ballpark because, yeah, that looks so much better for some reason. All right, fine. We're gonna be using these simplicity chairs. $40 per chair. Let's roll. Yeah, I'm gonna like that. I'm gonna like that a lot. Okay, this is going to be a huge test to see, can we finally place all of the chairs in our stadium? Doing these slanted ones are tricky, purely just because of the, I guess, awkward position that you're kind of placing them at. It's not exactly meant to go this way. So yeah, that's definitely what makes this a little bit tricky. Man, I mean, look at that. We've got quite a bit going on so far. We just have to keep it up, guys. We just have to keep it up. By using these simplicity chairs as well, they're not using much money, which that's a big factor too, because I don't want to spend too much money on this build. As much as I want to make this build, I would really love it even more if I could leave this build having a bunch of money and not be broke. I'm also making the top step of every single one of these this brown concrete. That way the textures just don't glitch. So it's going to save us some efforts. Alright, we have half of it done here in the lower bowl. This isn't even half, really. I'm lying to myself. We're close to halfway done. Alright, we are close to halfway done, and that's what's important. By the time we have all of these chairs in here, that will make such a huge difference. Man, this section here actually is probably taking the longest because of all of the curves involved in it. So yeah, there's no denying that. This is definitely taking me quite some time. Finally, the corner near home plate is done. Now we have to just go the rest of the way. And then my next goal after this will probably be to put all of these sponsor decals and also finish decorating the field. Then we will be really cooking. And I'm not checking this plot data until we're done with the lower bowl seating. Then we'll do the upper bowl seating, which I actually kind of just forgot about. And yeah, then we should be good to go. Dude, my hand hurts. My hand hurts from this, bro. Oh my days. I would also like to give myself credit. Last time I did this stadium, it took me a couple of weeks. And most of the progress that you guys are seeing has been done in about 6 hours here. I filmed for an hour yesterday, being Sunday, and I filmed for about 6 today on Monday. So yeah, while it might be the same amount of hours, I'm actually getting my videos done a lot quicker now than I was a year ago. So that is something I'm very proud of. And I could have had this build finished a while ago had I not been watching the Masters yesterday, but I had to watch, bro. I had to go watch. Thankfully, my favorite golfer won. Had he not, I'd be regretting it for sure. I'm almost done with my college year, so that's exciting too. Meaning that I'm almost done with school, which is ridiculous because it's not really a college year, it's actually my final year of high school, but I'm doing like a specific program that lets me go to college instead. So that's been exciting. It means I don't have to go to school as many days of the week, so, you know, that's always nice, right? Either way though, I do promise that my next stadium will be something that's not Michigan. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that one. Probably won't come until the map revamp though, because I'm curious what a new map could make plots look like. Just in terms of hopefully a change of scenery, you know, hopefully we don't still have these green hills and gray walls and all that in the background. I'd like stuff to be a little bit more scenic, so hopefully that is the case. Alright, we're on the final stretch of the lower bowl seats. Let's go. Vamos! Sorry. It's an inside joke between me and one of my best friends. It's gonna be really interesting. I'm either gonna be really happy or really sad whenever I find out what the plot data is. And hopefully, I'm really happy. There we go. There we go. Oh my days. That actually made a huge difference. Wow. Oh my gosh. Doesn't this look so cool with seats actually in it? Like, what the heck? Here we go. 51%. Let's go. That's actually really good. That is really good. That means that all of this was only half of the plot data. That is so good. Oh my gosh, yes, dude. Let's go. Our main focus is definitely going to be to get more of these lights up here, so I'll have to get a lot of Bloxburgs. Oh my god, my voice cracks. Wow, though, look at how cool this all looks, man. Oh my gosh, dude. Alrighty, guys, so I've got a bunch of my decals here of all of our sponsors and other different things that we're going to need. Starting off with this one here, which is the MLB postseason decal. This goes along the baseline, and since the Tigers make the playoffs last year, I figured that I would honor that by, well, giving them this here. So congratulations, Tigers, thank you for making the playoffs and actually winning a playoff series. That was awesome. And there we go, just like that. That is really cool. Then we take the Tigers logo, put this right smack behind home plate. See if I can even fit this in here. This is a tough one, wow. Okay, well, screw it. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I forgot to do even a home plate. Silly me. Okay, screw it. Those are fine for batter's boxes, I guess. And then you just put home plate right in the middle. I'm trying my best here, okay, guys? I'm trying my best. But yeah, either way, that's pretty good. More than happy with how that one turned out. Then there's also these little bunting flags. So these actually go along like the railing and all that stuff in the back here. Bunting flags are pretty common in all MLB stadiums. It's just, I don't know the history really behind them. I just know that they exist. Hopefully it doesn't look too tacky. I'm trying my best to make it fit in. So hopefully it does. There we go. Like, I like that addition out there in the outfield. That's a realistic touch. I'm proud of myself for that one. Next up, I'm gonna chuck in a pizza promotion somewhere along this outfield wall here. Maybe like right here, like right before this gate. They do actually have a lot of sponsors out here, so I'll contemplate adding all of them. It's a tough decision though, so I'm not entirely sure on if I will or not. But as you guys can see with pizza, that does indeed fit pretty well along the outfield wall there. So I don't know if I want to overdo it with sponsors because I personally don't like them whatsoever. So I don't see myself doing too many of those, but yeah. I'm gonna chuck one big Pepsi logo right up in here. Hey, this one at least makes sense, and this isn't, you know, like a Miller Lite or anything. This is a good sponsor. Like, look at that bad boy. Oh yeah, that helps a lot. Dang. Wow, dude. This might be one of my best builds. It may not get the recognition, because the other one's probably going to get more views. But man, I'm proud of myself for this one, so I'm going to let myself have this. I mean, like, look at that. America Landing. That's pretty good. Please, I'm going to put the Little Caesars one right over that bullpen area where this orange is. This is a big logo, but for some reason I've made it really tiny. But there we go. That's good there. All right. I mean, we got the Pure Michigan logo over here. That is pretty good. Got a Little Caesars logo up there. And then I can probably put another Comerica Park logo up here. There we go. Guys, it is so much tougher to get certain brand logos on Roblox than you think it is because of how the Roblox terms of service is. It gets really challenging. So yeah, I'm happy with what we have, to say the least. I'm gonna quickly just put some stuff here in the dugouts, or at least mark out some stuff, that is. And yeah, so there's that. Then we just go into our comfort section and we get some benches. This is where you would be if you do not subscribe. You'll be a bench warmer for the rest of your life. Not on an MLB team though, on a really bad team probably, so yeah, I wouldn't want to be that, just saying. No, but either way, we're looking pretty good so far, I'd say. I'll try to get some steps going into the dugouts. Oh wait, actually I forgot, we already have clonable steps, don't we? Haha. There we go. And there we go, guys. We are doing a outstanding job so far. I mean, seriously though, I'm so happy with how this is turning out. It's looking like one of my best, so we gotta hope that it stays that way. Time to place our upper bowl chairs, just to get them out of the way. No, just get them out of the way. Oh my gosh. Alright, there's all of those done. Jeez. That was pretty time consuming, pretty boring, and I have no clue what percent plot data we're at, probably getting close to 60. But it would probably be best if I actually started working on the pillars that hold our stadium lights. So some more of these really just right here. I was to keep placing these all the way up. This would be indeed what we are using. So I can kind of pick a distance as to how far apart I want these to be, all that stuff. And in this case scenario, I want them to be every 3 blocks. And so some of these are gonna hold this like tarp, I guess, and then while other ones are going to actually have lights on them. So yeah, the tarp will be like your roof, which that can be interesting. That could get really interesting really fast. Ooh, but look at that. You see how close we are to the plot height limit? Do you guys see that? We're a little bit close. Did not think about that one. Yikes. I wouldn't mind angling these lights a little bit more towards the field. So let's see. So if I was to angle them this way, I'd probably be better going like that. Yeah. I'm gonna bring these up as high as I can. So I can bring them up like that high. Jeez, though, I'm gonna have to spend so much Robux on Bloxburg. Alright, screw it. I'm going for the big one. This better not take all of my Robux, dude. If it does, it's my fault. I'm accountable, but still. That is going to be a lot of Bloxburg. I mean, did they have to make the best light available, you know, Bloxburg? I would have paid so much regular cash for this, dude. It's gonna be really awkward whenever I delete this build, assuming I do. I've kept the Lions in the Red Wings Stadium, so I probably would keep this as well, assuming I do it all right. But yeah, if I ever delete it, I'll get so many of those lights back. Alright, that might not be my best design of all time, but I think that turned out pretty decent, so I'm okay with that. And then now I have to pretty much do the exact same thing, but for this here, which this one's going to be way tougher. Dude, I don't know how they manage it with the real ballpark, I tell you what. Oh wait, I can go with extra pillar height? Wait, what? That's kind of crazy. Okay. Wow, did not think that would happen. Okay, not like it necessarily matters, but still. It could. The Tigers are actually about to play right now. They're about to play the Brewers. Okay. Maybe I will want to watch that. I don't know. Especially if Scooball's pitching, yeah. Okay, so I have the pillars and all that stuff there. We can only get a couple of these ones with lights. So let's just remember that. We can't fill them all with lights, unfortunately. We can really only get like 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm just trying to count them out so I can get a good general idea. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay. That should be... We should have enough Bloxburgs for all of that. But goodness me, dude. We are cooking! Right now, I'm still just trying to get this roof tarp on here. I actually am not using the flat roof. I'm going to adjust these little supports to go to each pillar. Look at that, guys. We have a roof over the seats. Sort of a roof. I'll call it a roof. Anyways, though. So it is 12.25 per Bloxburgs thing. And we have... Oh, wait. I can literally place them on this pillar. I forgot that... I don't know how it is that you get Bloxburgs item back. I thought you'd get them back just simply by pressing the redo button or the undo button, but I guess not. So that must be how I got more of them in my inventory. Either way though, that just means we need to keep placing, and now we have an unnecessary amount of Bloxburgs, so isn't that nice to know? I wish whenever you duplicated items, it duplicates straight out of your inventory, but obviously that would be a very challenging feature to add. So in theory, I can just literally copy and paste this by pillar. Okay, suddenly that's not as challenging as I thought it'd be. This is so much better than whatever the hell we were doing over there anyways, so. Can I place one on top of this? No, I can't. It's really brightening up the top seats, that's for sure. Gosh, these seats up here are getting lit up. Either way though, look at that. Look at that. We could either... We don't even have to place them there. Will they light up the seats less if I move them out like that? Okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna move them all up. That way, yeah, they don't light up the seats as much and are a little less overwhelming. Plus, we'll be able to see them more directly. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Let's go. Let's go, dude. Oh my gosh. Do I spend time now? Yeah, I gotta light up in the bottom of our stadium now. How do I even control the lighting, though? That's the only issue, is how do I control the lighting and make it spaced out enough? All right, I have all the lights placed. Now I have to resize them down. There we go, guys. The entire field has been lit up. Holy cow. What the heck is this, dude? Alrighty guys, so I've spent some time doing some tiny patch-ups, basically by adding in all these railings here, making all the floors, and so I went with a brick texture in here for our concourse. That way, it kind of, I guess, looks more like a roof walking section, but also is a little bit more open to the natural light. I like that a lot. I also have a stairwell over here, featuring some escalators to help get upstairs, and I currently do not have a way to get up here, but I will work on that. I can probably chuck a stair in on this side or something. But either way, I also added in windows here in the back, and I also took out that ugly staircase that was just in this corner here. I just really didn't like it. So I'm gonna probably chuck in another one of these little beamworks right here. And otherwise, we are looking really, really good. Absolutely loving the way this looks right now. We got all these different wall trims in here too to add some extra detail. And I think we need to place some chairs all the way up here now. So I think it's time. Let's place chairs. Yes. Who doesn't want to place chairs? Wait, placement failed. Oh god. Dude, I thought I hit the chair limit for a second. I was like, please no. Out of all of my stadiums, I can say that this is the one that I've placed the most chairs in. Because all my other ones, I actually didn't even get to finish them, really. And this one, yeah, we've got just so many chairs. And if I had done the baby chairs, bro, this literally would have taken me an eternity. Thankfully, I didn't do that, and we are doing just fine. But yeah, the stadium's turning out a lot better than I thought it would, so I'm gonna give myself props for that. And I hope you guys are all liking it too. And then I also have some cool ideas for our concourse once we start working on those. But man, we are really cooking here, guys. Today is Tuesday, and I would like to finish the stadium. Preferably today or tomorrow. That way, I can have plenty of time to edit my video. Gosh, dude, look at just how much of this I actually have to place chairs in. I didn't think of all that, you know? It just doesn't feel like that much stuff, but it actually is quite a lot. Dude, placing chairs is the most precise and literally lonely thing you can ever do. Like, it's just dead silence. It's just me placing chairs. Dude, I'm just coming up with, like, literally the most unique designs to place chairs right now. Oh my gosh, I can't even follow my own pattern. Wait, that actually just made things harder on myself. Why did I do that? Oh my gosh. Well, now I'm officially over halfway. The issue is, it's just these are on such precise angles, gosh. I tell you what, man. These are, why do I do this to myself? That's a really good question. I can't wait for the next update, and they're gonna add something absolutely perfect for this build. They're gonna, because like I know they did like that little metal fencing I did down there. They added that after my hockey stadium build, and I was like, dude, that would have been perfect for some spots. I can't wait for them to add like a new like street light or new chair just in general or texture. That's gonna be perfect for this, and I can't even use it. Gosh, that makes the stadium look so much better with all these chairs in here though. I was pretty worried they look tacky, because I know some people use certain chairs that like make them look tacky, and I've definitely done it before too, where you can see just a little too much of the concrete under it, and they just don't look right. But these kind of nailed it. I'm pretty happy with how these turned out. So, and that's not a diss to anyone else. Like, I've done this plenty of times where I've used the wrong chair. Oh my gosh, we're almost there. We're almost there. Dude, imagine being this person in this chair right here. You have to sit behind this massive pillar or sit inside the pillar. Like, where's the ball at? I can't see it. There we go. Oh my gosh, we've done it. We have placed all of the chairs. Wow, does this stadium look cool or what? Wow, dude. We're at 66% plot data. Dude, look at this view, bro. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. I'd say we got this all pretty scaled well. So now I would like to do some sort of lights design here on our concourse to at least kind of connect these railings to the pillars. I'm gonna use the flint light here. Man, I wish I could choose like a measurement for the industrial beam. You guys are just gonna have to trust me here on this one. Basically here I'm gonna use this beam to kind of like, I don't know, connect it to the building there. That's pretty cool, yeah. Yeah, basically I'm just going around and adding these lights like all over the concourse. So you guys can see them, and there's just a bunch of them over here. Which, I don't know, I like the way and feel that kind of gives this building. Personally, I think it was a huge addition. And I can continue obviously just adding in more pillars and all that fun stuff. So yeah, very exciting stuff. Now I feel like it would be good to kind of set the tone with some exterior stuff. Most of the walls of Comerica Park are these brick buildings, kind of laid out just like this, really. So I would like to preferably keep that going. Now I need to somehow make this feel like a building, though. Not entirely sure how to get that feel. I mean, to be fair, I can literally just right above it make it have a fenced off walkway, actually. That's not the worst idea in the world. I've done crazier things. So, you know what? That's not terrible at all. We can still get around these steps, too. I could make an entrance point be over here, and then you just go through some more building, and then we have like the main entrance point be right here. I like that main entrance point being right here, okay. Although look at all this crap right above it, jeez. You know, like that's nuts. That's nuts. Pretty much just gonna make this wall act as like a barrier, pretty much, for the entire stadium. So it's literally just a wall to, you know, prevent from seeing all the grass and all that stuff out here. That's all I really can do. So, you know, pretty much have our entrance up like that, so I can finally get rid of those little plain white markings and actually go in and fill this floor some. And so the Tigers have their very own and very custom flooring out here on the front, and so I can sort of mimic this design by making basic shapes. All right, there we go. We have finally found a way to do this. So if I just keep placing these as so, we should be set. And so now you're probably like, well there, Captain, you know, hey, you're kind of overlapping the floor here. Instead of which that I say, we just lower this all down. Let me find a specific spot for a good measurement. Okay, so they've all been lowered. As you guys can see though, the textures do still glitch, in which that glitchiness isn't exactly something I really want inside of my good old build. So I was thinking if I make the walls kind of pop out a little bit like this would not only give us some room for some interior stuff, this could make it so I can at least cover this all with concrete. Okay, so we're sort of going to use this as our base to get us in here. Now I have to find out a good measurement for just the entrance itself. So last year I had sort of actually a gate design, and I actually would like to roll with that gate design again. Now how in the world am I supposed to design a gate, bro? Hold on, this is like, yeah, this is going to be interesting. So there's like this orange padding at the bottom here with the Tigers logo on it. All right, look at that. Perfect, dude, perfect. Wow, okay. So there's that, which is pretty cool, I'd say. And then if I was to just quite literally rotate them through, bang, we're sort of cooking here. We are sort of cooking here. I have to continue placing these like pillars though, so you keep chucking these in. Okay, look at that. There we go. That is good. And now my Dinklehead needs to resize these down. Now, I'd like to at least get a top of these, or I guess something to place in the middle of these. Basically something to just act as a filler. Now I need something to go right in the middle of these. Oh my gosh, bro. Look at this. Look at this. This is cool. I feel like I am better off than the last one that we did. I feel like I am a little bit better off. There's just some tiny giveaways. But now I obviously need the good old bat that we had too. So there's these tiny little pieces here that need filled. There we go, guys. Look at that for a baseball bat. What? I think that looks pretty cool. It's got the shape and everything. Wow. Yeah, talk about some excellence, huh? Trying to mimic all of this to the other side, though, is going to be a blast. I can make gate signs, too, using the classic banner lamp. Oh, man, how cool is that? Also, guys, our build is currently $2.3 million. That is ridiculous. But yeah, either way, oh my gosh. Absolutely loving this. Loving this, loving this, loving this. Yeah, that only took up 3% plot data, bro. We are all good. So I'll have to mimic that over here, and then I can probably put some right there and right there, too. Get some extra entrances in here. And then I was thinking of doing my side entrances pretty much just like this. I mean, I think I did that really well. I accidentally placed this all on my singular cube. Oh my days. But yeah, either way, I found an easier way to clone around these little thingy-boppers. So that's good. Because basically now they're just a lot easier to transform. So that's the main difference. While they do look a little glitchy from afar, they look pretty good up close, so that's all I care about. Oh, there goes somebody's lawnmower. What a surprise. Man, dude, it is so windy today. Why would somebody mow the lawn? Wait a second, is that my family? Okay, so look, it's a little glitchy, the textures are, but you know what, it's fine. It looks better up close. We won't be looking at it too badly from up here. Whoops. I should like leave like one of these doors open at each, just so that way people can get in. Okay, now we're just going to do one more, which is just over here on this side, and then we will be done. Done with that experiment. But okay, there's our 4 gates. So we have, yep, all 4. That's been a lot of money though. Yeah, we're at 2.5 million, 77% plot data, and I'm only have 72,000 cash left at the moment. I'd like to use some bricks here in this hallway just to give it some more texture, because currently just the typical white is weird. You guys know me and my textures, man. I gotta get them all right. I'm just gonna be using this high base ceiling light. May not be the prettiest thing in the world, but I'm gonna use it because I feel like it fits. Plus floodlights too, those help a lot. Yeah, suddenly I feel a lot better about this build. There we go. We can sort of continue our pillar designs just by using the plain wide pillar here. Tucking it in here, and then there's these like little beams that almost act as wedges that come off of it. And so I can just literally make these myself. Basically, yeah, something like these beams right here. These are pretty dang good. They just help, I don't know, give this area some extra support. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. That kind of like helps add that extra bit of detail that we needed. So I can very easily continue that just throughout the concourse. Then obviously there's the trash cans and stuff that we probably need to put out here. I need to get some cash though, mate. Right now we're chilling at 78% plot data. I think it would be neat to have an elevator that at least gets up to all of these different floors here. Like if I use the elegant elevator that, you know, that way I have something that goes to all of the floors, but also is like an actual design. Like I feel like this elegant elevator fits mostly because of the design it has. So I'm not entirely sure how to connect it to all 4 floors. That's the only trouble I'm having. Like if I was to put it like literally right here, for instance, like I definitely could. All right, well that goes to all of the floors. So that is indeed what I call a big W. And then we could probably use some stairs over on this side just for other people to use. So that way you don't feel forced to go on the elevator. But yeah, wow, what a stadium. What a stadium indeed. Now I guess it's time to try and attempt to do some bathrooms. So like ideally if I had an entrance here, you get 2 stalls, and you get a sink. And then obviously to roof this all off, we can just put some good old ceiling stuff. And I guess, yeah, for our clonable bathroom design, we can do multiple box sinks, just have 2 there. Then put plenty of hand dryers over here, paper towel dispenser there, a mirror, and then we'll put 2 toilets over here. 2 toilets with 2 doors. All right, there we go. We got our toilets and our plungers, and we even have a light in here. I'd say that's pretty decent. Just know where you're going, and you know, you'll find your way in the bathroom. Even have some wall cutouts up there to kind of let some light in. Yeah, pretty neat, pretty neat. And so here's the, I should say, one gender's bathroom, and then we could quite literally just chuck the other one over here. But hey, I'm at least happy like we're actually getting bathrooms in here and all that. I mean, that was an addition I didn't think I was gonna be able to do. So, all right, there we go. We have 2 bathrooms there. Screw it, that's the guess and check bathrooms. You can go in there and guess if you're in the right one. I'd also like to work on this bar space up here, because I mean, this is a pretty important part as well. And so yeah, I kind of painted that green. I like that green. I think that's a good look. And then I think chucking in some of these as well is going to help. I like the addition of like a navy blue light. Oh yeah, okay. That looks pretty good. And then I can use some of the tiki stools that I absolutely love. I think, yeah, by painting these like metal, that's pretty good. Okay, we're getting some amenities in our stadium, bro. Cannot believe it. Let's go. We can put, you know, a stove and just another rustic counter. But yeah, like introducing some of that fountain drink machine in there. Getting, you know, like an actual kitchen sink. Over here, I can even have like a separate type of area where you like line up and come get your food. So I put like a little cash register right there. Even put like a couple of jukeboxes up here. And then yeah, I could put some games up on here. Maybe even the game you're watching. Plenty of stadiums for some reason do that, by the way, guys. So don't call me crazy for including this as a detail. Like, that's not a rare thing to see. So we will 100% need a mini fridge or 2. If I go into kitchen, we're gonna need some cups. Yeah, plenty of cups over here. But yeah, I mean, I seriously though, I like the way that turned out over there. I think that's a cool spot to go to. And then I don't know, I'd like to see, you know, maybe you get some ice cream, so you come on over here to some like glass tables and stuff. Or, oh, these, yeah, bro, these. The things I used in the prison, yeah. Yeah, I can have like one of those. Maybe you have to scan your club membership to get in over here. I like that idea. That's kind of cool. Same thing with like right over here and pass this way too. You have to scan like a club membership card or something. I like that idea. But okay, we've got that now. So that's huge. Yeah, that looks so good. Okay. We've done a lot in this build. I could go, oh my God. Oh my God. I could go in here and try to make every single room, or at least get the layout for everyone. Oh my gosh, though, that is, wow. There's a lot in here. This all is broadcasting. These could be like the family suites over here, though, honestly. That's fine. Realistically, though, we can make a pretty good looking thing here. We're at 2.8 million and 79% plot data, which I think is reasonable. This is arguably my most complete build ever, so I think that's all reasonable. Alrighty guys, I think it is time to work on our press box. So here is our massive press box layout, I guess. And it also would probably help if we at least put floors in rooms, by room, rather than the previous thing I had. That way I can change the carpets in each room and all that. Yeah, either way, it'd probably be good to do some type of fabric like this, which I get it's really messy. It'd be cool if I actually made these more like a recording studio room. So I think it would be neat if I used like actual glass windows here. You can kind of like look in between each of them, sort of. Like, I don't know, I feel like that's a cool possible addition. And then yeah, in these rooms I can make this be a really dark backdrop. And see, basically that like blacks out the behind it, so we can't see really the door and all that stuff. And then we can have a series of desks in here. Let's say we can continue the Camerica's like green in here, on top of like a black desk. And then what looks the most comfortable? Probably this seat. This seat looks really comfortable to call a game in with your buddy. I'll put TVs here in the corner. That way each broadcaster can still like see what's going on, but also be able to see the TV and what's up on there. Say we put 2 microphones here. We can even have like sticky notes in here. With these sticky notes, you know, you can write down like player numbers and all that fun stuff, just so you don't have to, I guess, memorize that. And like a clipboard. Yeah, that's actually really good. Dang, okay. All right, look at that. We have plenty of broadcast booths there. I think that's pretty good. Usually there is a window looking into club seats. I know there are, at least in football stadiums. I'll see some clips of like fans right next to Dan Miller after a Lions game. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I'll include that feature over here. That way, you know, some people can enjoy that. That way, you know, it doesn't make it too bright from the outside, but it also gives some light in there. Like, I think that's actually really good the way that is. And then I can obviously chuck in some light switches in here too. Overall, pretty good looking press boxes. I'm not sure what to put in this hallway. Now for our basic suite design, which I'm not entirely sure what happened to the windows here. I could have sworn that I placed some, like I did over here, but I guess not. So I do sincerely apologize about that. I'm gonna continue to have the back wall in each of these be this dark gray / brown, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so how we're gonna do these suites here, there's this orange wall that has just, you know, like a sink and all that fun stuff for you, along with a good old beverage fridge. Then we're gonna keep the rest of it this gray, and then have this be the white wall in here. Then we include like a basic shape, almost pillar, and then we feature like a nice like dining table in here basically. Which, while I know that might not be, you know, the #1 thing in the world, you're gonna have to just deal with it in here, okay? Then we put like a hanging TV in this corner. And then right outside we could feature the theater seats, honestly. There we go. Yep, you bring those in. Everyone can come on out and come sit on those. That's a good addition. But yeah, I can literally just copy and paste this as I please. And so these are for literally just your single family suites, I guess. And then I'm not sure what to do with our lighting in here. Maybe I just continue those fans. That's the best way to secure air conditioning, right? Gosh, I cannot stand with this carpet, actually. Hold on. Okay. For these curved parts, I'm using a diagonal carpet, because goodness me, I could not stand the other one. In these much larger suites, though, we have way more room, which is good, meaning I have plenty of room to actually add more detail in instead of that regular orange that we had. So we're gonna have some seating like this, and then pretty much just directly in the center, we can have lounge couches. And then to feature our orange, we'll put it on this couch here. Perfect. And then there's your coffee table smack center. Holy cow, I did not realize how big this thing was. That is not what I wanted to get. Basically, just say you can project it onto this projector screen. Oh shoot, I shouldn't have bought that probably. Yeah, I already have one. Whoops, silly me. And so I'm thinking along like the backdrop here, we could probably chuck in some mirrors. Like I feel like making a horizontal mirror here would be awesome. Where's the arrow at, bro? There it is. Gosh, that's so much trouble finding that. But yeah, either way, I am liking the way that this turned out in here. We can obviously chuck in like multiple fans. Gosh, bro, imagine if the White Sox stadium uses like ceiling fans. They have more ceiling fans than they have actual fans, dude. That's crazy. Sorry, White Sox. Oh, the most random sneak diss of all time. I'm so sorry. But yeah, absolutely in love with how this is turning out so far. We've got one more spot over here, which fortunately we can use that ceiling projector in our inventory now. Let's see. Where did it go? Wait, there it is. My bad. I was about to say, bro, I was like, that thing just disappeared. But no, we got it. We got it, because we got that. Dude, did you guys know I was actually in some, like, Bloxburg music video? Back in the day, bro. Back in the day, there's, like, this guy, Prime Exis, dude. And I wouldn't call it a music video. It was something. Prime's a good friend of mine. And, man, I was in this video back when I was MCL, bro. I was a nobody. And I was in this video. I was like the top builders of Bloxburg. You know, just some super supposedly cool music video. it was maybe the craziest experience of my life. I remember being so hyped off of that. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm in this video. Got like 80k views. There's just a tiny snippet of me in there. I'll see if I can find it. I'll 100% show you guys, because that was hilarious. But yeah, we're almost done with this first floor of suites, which is cool. I mean, I'm happy I'm doing them. You know, not every stadium's as complete as this, I'd say. Especially not mine. So, you know, just adding in the suites and the press boxes, it's an awesome touch, you know. It makes the stadium feel complete. So, I don't feel like I'd have a complete build without it. So I'm really happy that I'm adding these, even if they look a little wonky. But I did try my best, so it's okay. And I'd actually really like to keep using that bar seating method. That was sick. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal idea. Phenomenal thinking by your boy. But yeah, either way, there's those booths as well. Man, or suites. Sorry, I keep getting the wrong word. Now up here is really just our bigger ones, I guess. So I can realistically just copy the floor from down here and keep placing it up here. I'm curious what the entire like capacity of this stadium is, you know? Like I wish I could see a number of chairs. Like I think that'd be kind of cool to know just how many people, how many Roblox players could this stadium fit. You guys can guess down in the comments below. I'm not gonna do the math, but send me your best guesses. In real life, this stadium pushes about 50k, which is the amount of subscribers we have. So we could actually fit every single one of you guys in this stadium, in real life. All right, there we go. See how it looks from here. See, like overall as a viewpoint, like that's pretty good to have those decorated. Like I think that is just fine. Doesn't really affect much on our build. It only adds a bunch of value. Now we are officially over $3 million in plot value. 83% plot data. And I can finally say, after hours of work, this stadium is complete. Remember guys, you can get early access to all of my builds by following me on my social medias and joining my Discord server. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.